name is Dr. Gabriella Flocka, and I'm asking you to help save the pygmy hippo by supporting my PhD research at the University of Western Australia. I am a veterinarian specializing in zoo and wildlife medicine, and I have loved hippos since I was 2 years old. Fast forward 3.5 decades. In 2012, my lifelong dream to work with hippos came true when I was offered a PhD opportunity to study hippos. My research focuses on the pygmy hippopotamus, a much less famous, smaller cousin of the common hippo. Pygmy hippos are listed as endangered on the International Union for the Conservation of Nature Red List. They only live in a very small area of West Africa called the Upper Ghanaian Rainforest ecosystem. As opposed to the common hippo, which is found throughout sub-Saharan Africa, all of the world's pygmy hippos are located in only 4 countries: Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ivory Coast. In April of 2013, I traveled to the Ivory Coast to study the pygmy hippo in the wild in the Tai National Park. Pygmy hippos are very secretive, elusive, and extremely difficult to find. They live in dense, sometimes impenetrable rainforest and are predominantly active at night. Thus, we searched for footprints and dung, and we used camera traps to find where the hippos were hiding in the forest. We planned to capture and anesthetize several hippos, fit them with radio telemetry collars, and then track them through the forest and follow their movements. Unfortunately, a series of logistical and financial problems, closely followed by the recent Ebola outbreak, brought our research in Ivory Coast to a halt. I needed to develop a new project that could still benefit the pygmy hippo. I worked with the international and North American studbook coordinators from Zoo Basel in Switzerland and Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo in the U.S. to develop a conservation project studying health and reproduction of pygmy hippos in zoos. If you want to know if you're pregnant or not, you go down to the local pharmacy and you purchase a pregnancy test. Pee on a stick, and voila! Within a few minutes, the color change will indicate if you are expecting or not. However, it's pretty difficult to get the pygmy hippo to pee on a stick. Fortunately, reproductive cycles and pregnancy in animals can also be monitored by looking at hormone levels in dung samples. The reproductive hormones found in urine and dung are different for every species, and these tests have previously developed for other animals commonly found in zoos, like elephants, rhinos, gorillas, and even the common hippo. But this type of testing hasn't yet been established for the pygmy hippo. Thus, I set out to develop the hormone tests for following reproductive cycles, diagnosing pregnancy, and monitoring stress levels in pygmy hippos using dung samples. Luckily, hippos are very prolific dung producers, so there is no shortage of available samples. I am collaborating with 12 zoos in the U.S. that serve as home to a total of 28 pygmy hippos. In May of 2015, I will be traveling to Jacksonville, Florida to analyze dung samples at the Southeast Zoo Alliance for Reproduction and Conservation Research Laboratory. I have over 3,500 dung samples to analyze that were diligently collected by the dedicated zookeepers at the 12 participating zoos over the last year. That's a lot of hip poo. I am asking you to please support this vital research and help the world's pygmy hippos by sponsoring this PhD research. The information generated by my study will help zoos around the world to better manage this endangered species. The hormone tests I am developing will help improve breeding and pregnancy detection and will also provide clues as to how stress can affect health, welfare, and reproduction in pygmy hippos. It's really incredible how much information hip poo can provide. My goal is to raise 16,500 Australian dollars for this project, which equates to approximately $500 per pygmy hippo. Any funding I receive above this amount will also go toward pygmy hippo conservation efforts and will allow me to travel to scientific conferences in the future and present the results of my research to the zoo community. Together we can play an important role in the long-term conservation of this endangered and endearing animal. Hopefully we can ensure that many generations to come will still be able to enjoy seeing the pygmy hippo both in the zoo and in the wild. Otherwise, all we may have left is this alternative. Thank you very much for supporting pygmy hippo research by helping fund my PhD project at the University of Western Australia.